We have some very interesting AEW news in today's video. We're also going to talk about Impact Wrestling signing a former Ring of Honor star, one that has recently invaded the company. And then also, we are going to talk about William Regal after his WWE release because it seems like Impact Wrestling is interested. If you guys want more news videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button. All right, guys, PCO is headed to Impact Wrestling. It's been announced that PCO is on his way to Impact Wrestling. Now, what's really interesting is right now he is part of this Invasion storyline. There was interest in PCO from WWE and AEW at one point. I'm not really sure as to why he chose going to Impact over the other companies. However, the belief is that he will have the ability to essentially work like indie shows and stuff like that too. So Impact Wrestling is in fact giving him the freedom that AEW would also do. Now PCO is somebody who I think he's a good veteran. He did some really insane stuff at ROH, and I think most importantly, what people are going to see is that PCO can still go in the ring. What's weird about Impact these days is typically the veterans that they bring in don't really take away from the upcoming guys, and I like that about Impact. However, this ROH Invasion storyline is something that a lot of people are going to be paying close attention to because right now, this is the first time that Impact actually has a lot of buzz in a long time. And I would say this is probably the most important storyline for Impact since the arrival of Kenny Omega, which, as we all know, AEW and Impact are no longer working together. This does not mean that ROH and Impact are working together, by the way. It just means that PCO has decided to sign with Impact. Now, when Ring of Honor does return in April, we'll see what kind of happens there. As of right now, nobody necessarily knows. Some more Impact Wrestling news. Tommy Dreamer, it was recently revealed on Busted Open Radio. Tommy Dreamer, he noted that he did reach out to William Regal and sent him a text after his release, letting him know that he was welcome in Impact Wrestling. And, you know, I got to say, this is a good step for Impact Wrestling if they are able to land William Regal. As you guys know, on this channel specifically, the last few days, I have mentioned that AEW and Impact and these companies should be reaching out to William Regal. Now, the real question is, will William Regal work for any of these other companies? I think William Regal is going to be a great asset behind the scenes. And I'm not even going to lie. I think even doing the general manager stuff that he was doing on WWE NXT could really be good for him if he were to go and be an authority figure, whether it's for Impact or even AEW. And I understand that some people don't like the idea of a authority figure for AEW. But again, I think AEW needs some structure behind the scenes. And I think having an authority figure, if it's William Regal, I think it could be done the right way, where it's not intrusive. It's not like this anti-storyline, anti-authority storyline. I don't foresee that being a thing in AEW. But to me, I do think William Regal, no matter what, should be involved in one of these companies behind the scenes, and I do look forward to seeing what happens. We don't have any knowledge as far as William Regal accepting Impact Wrestling's offer. We don't know if perhaps AEW has even made an offer for William Regal, but what we do know is that William Regal going to AEW or Impact is very well a possibility. Keep in mind, William Regal is likely not going to be wrestling, and I wouldn't expect that either. I've seen some people talk about that in the Discord server. I'm not sure why, but I did want to address that. All right, guys, and before we get to our final story of the day, if you guys want to check out Ango Plays, this is my new YouTube channel where I'm going to be bringing you guys AEW video game stuff, WWE 2K22, the wrestling code. We already got some videos uploaded. I'm uploading daily on this channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys can show some love, I'd greatly appreciate it. AEW wrestler Dustin Rhodes has announced that he has tested positive. Now, I actually am finished with my quarantine. I am officially out of isolation. But as you guys know, there seems to be a major outbreak that's happening within WWE, AEW, and all of these wrestling companies. And this is not something that should be shocking, considering, at least within the United States, the cases are extremely high throughout every state and whatnot. Now, I notice that sometimes whenever this conversation gets brought up about the pandemic and whatnot, people in the comment section typically allude to a whole bunch of talk, political talk, and whatever it is. And me personally, my belief is that this channel is about wrestling, and I don't really want to get into politics or policies or anything like that. But what I do want to discuss is the fact that wrestling companies are having this issue where people are testing positive. We've seen CM Punk clap back on social media because of fans stalking at the airport. And then somebody on Twitter tweeted CM Punk going into the crowd. CM Punk justified his actions because that was post-vaccination and that was Omicron or whatever. So basically that was before the surge, and that was CM Punk's defense. Now, the thing that obviously we got to talk about is the fact that wrestlers are testing positive, right? We've seen it happen with the Young Bucks, Brandon Cutler. We've seen it with Roman Reigns. And some of these cases are false positive tests. Some of these cases are, they're testing positive and then they become asymptomatic and then they don't have any symptoms or whatnot, which is a good thing, right? Anytime it's not severe. But the reason why I did want to talk about that was because obviously this is starting to affect AEW and WWE in certain capacities. And the real conversation now begins. Do these companies look at going into another Thunderdome or Daly's Place? Do they look at doing anything with limited crowds and stuff? Because I think deep down inside, the wrestling product needs fans in attendance. AEW, WWE, and Impact at some point have piped in crowd noise, which I absolutely hate that, but I understand it because of the pandemic era. Now there's actual full crowds in place, but wrestlers are testing positive and they're being pulled from TV. I believe the number of positive cases throughout the last year and a half have been pretty high within both companies, despite the fact that both companies have introduced some sort of protocols and stuff like that, which I do believe Impact, AEW, and WWE all have some sort of protocols still in place. But of course, even with these protocols, it is still becoming an issue. So with Dustin Rhodes testing positive, the real question is, do WWE and AEW look to do something a little bit more to strengthen their protocols, to limit these positive tests? We're seeing it as an issue in the NBA. We're seeing it as an issue in the NFL, NHL. Games are being postponed and stuff like that. Thankfully, with wrestling, the show continues to go on. But should they take any sort of more precautions? That's the real thing. Because, again, without talking policies and political stuff, it doesn't change the fact that this pandemic is still here. And I think Tony Khan has been pretty clear. There's not a mandate, to get the shots. And the belief is that WWE doesn't have it either. But what are they going to do to limit these cases? Because the more cases, the more that these people are pulled from TV and storylines and stuff like that. So really curious to hear what your guys' opinions are. Don't forget, we got Ango Plays. If you guys want to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys subscribed. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name is Ango, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.